Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and we're going to be doing a Let's Paint. We haven't done one of these for a while, but a few people have asked me, so I thought I'd do one on this. This is a Adeptus Mechanicus Ranger. Standard infantry for the Adeptus Mechanicus, so I'm just going to show you how I paint them. We're going to need a base coat. Just a very simple base coat. Doesn't matter if you smudge, nothing matters at this point. Just make sure you get all the metally bits covered, but don't put too much paint on because you're going to want the black underneath showing through. It's very messy and scruffy, but don't worry about it. There we go. That's the undercoat done. Moving swiftly on, I'll just put the eyes in because I've discovered that if you put the eyes in afterwards you get it all over the hood. So I'll just put the eyes in now just to save time. There go the eyes. Don't worry, it'll look better in a bit. The autofocus on this camera is annoying. There we go. Right, so that's the eyes in. Now we need to do the base coat of the uniform. So I'm going to put some dark red along with some bright red, mix them together, and this is the base coat for the uniform. So don't be slow, just put it on. If you're slow, you're more likely to smudge. Just avoid the metally bits. So these are Adeptus Mechanicus Rangers. They're more or less the standard infantry for the Mechanicus. You also get in the box you have the options to turn them into more elite troops, troops that use radiation weapons. Mechanicus, the standard Mechanicus don't use the radiation weapons. They tend to use these nice little rifles. We had to wait a long time for Mechanicus to come out as a faction you could actually play. And when I saw that they'd come out, I thought, well, I've got to get Mechanicus, haven't I? Because I've always quite liked the Mechanicus, but never really saw them as an army you could play. And when they brought them out, especially with the Heresy books, because you do get the Mechanicus in combat, the Mechanicus become a much more fun faction to play. Right, so that's the base coat done. Doesn't look much yet, but wait one little minute and then we get orange. Now orange is not the easiest colour to paint with. It's useless as a base coat. So that's why I've got the red underneath it, and I'm painting the orange over while the red's still wet to get a bit of a crossover. You can see the orange on the sleeve there. I have to remember which order I painted it, so I'm not painting dry bits. Try and get the red before it sets. It's there. Yeah, so I decided to collect Mechanicus. I got the Start Mechanicus box, the Skitarii box, which has in it a sort of large walker and some other fun stuff. What has it got? It's got a large walker, one of these guys, was quite cool. Basically, it's the guy on the cover of the book about Belisarius' Call. So it looks very Belisarius. But this is the standard Skitarii. Yeah, not Skitarii. Well, yeah, Skitarii. Skitarii is simply the infantry. So now we want to paint the gun and any other bits you feel like. There's no strict rule to this. Oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. So we're going for bronze in this particular instance. Not too much, just paint over the stuff that's already there. Now I have to leave that bronze to set before I put anything else on it, because bronze does not mix with anything else. So I'm just going to go over the backpack very, very lightly, just to give some detail into the backpack to make it bronze, but leave everything else intact. Oh yeah, and of course the incense. There we go. That's it. Next bit is to put the... What is the next bit? It's to put the blue on. Okay, so undercoat of dark blue. I'm using the ultramarine blue. I've got it out. This is a base coat. This, right? But the bit at the bottom is very, 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 very blue. And so if you get that, it's brilliant at sinking into holes, which is why I use it. So it sinks straight into the hole. You're not really painting it. And the reason I'm using this is because I want to get it in those grills. See those grills there? It goes straight into the grills, and it gives a blue background to what you're painting, and it will make sense in a little while. And cover that whole cartridge box blue because it's glowing. Then, while it's still wet, you get a tiny bit of electric glue. What's it called? I can't read that. It's got too much paint on it. Light blue, shall we say? Just gently over the top. Very gently. Not too much. Now this top bit will already have dried because you're using one of these, so the top of it will already be dry. So you go over it just like that. Then you add white to the blue. Again, not too much. And you just go over the grill. Oops, go over the grill, go over the gun, very gently. And that gives you the glowing effect, the plasma glowing effect. And the blue is inside. You can see the blue inside, the blue, you can see the blue through it, and it actually looks quite good. Because the blue's more an ink than a base coat, so quite good. But you have to put it over black because the blue is semi-transparent, so if you put it over any other colour it tends to change colour because it's designed to be painted. It's a wash, you paint over the top of the figure, but don't worry about it, it's not important. Then you need some wood brown. Oak brown would do best in this particular instance, and paint over the, because this is an archaic weapon, right? This dates back years and it's deliberately made to look archaic because the Adeptus Mechanicus are archaic. So we simply touch in the bits that could on a normal rifle in modern day times be brown. Oh, I'm not really sure. Let's have a look. There, that's it. And that's the rifle. I've got the underside to do there, but no one's ever going to see that anyway. Then I need, there's a colour I forgot. You need a power button on the back, and you've got a little dial on the back of the backpack which shows you the charge of the equipment, and that's just here, so you put that in like that. And you need to colour in the lamp. Oops. Yeah, focus on this camera. Awful. There we go. Then we'll put the silver on the very end of the barrel, because the bronze is just for effect. It's just to look good for the Mechanicus. There she goes. I went for the orangey colour rather than the red colour for the uniform, because the Mechanicus are they don't always wear red. Each Forge World wears its own colours, and the red of Mars really comes from camouflage originally used during the war 10,000 years ago, when the Mechanicus fought each other, and red was a good camouflage colour. So I've gone for a slightly orangey red, hence the orangey uniform, because Mars is more orange than red, so I just figured why not. Then we're going for some skull white and some bleached bone mixed together, because the skull white's slightly too skull whitey and the bleached bone is slightly too bleach bony. And we're going to mess up his coat, because he's been fighting in combat continuously and he's scruffy, because no soldiers keep their clothes nice and clean during battle. And my brush appears to have some orange on it. So we're making him nice and scruffy because he's seen lots and lots of combat, and he's got dirt all over his uniform, so his officer will probably be annoyed with him. That's if his officer has real eyes, because, you know, Mechanicus and all that. And now we need to do the underside. That's the underside of the uniform. You don't need to cover all of it because you're not going to see most of it when it's based, just the edges. Dum, 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 dum. I sometimes do this sort of thing by taking the figure off the base before I base it. In this instance, because I'm doing a Let's Paint, I need to do it all at the same time, so I'll skip that. Right. Now he's got a little bit of writing on here. And then the back end of the cloak, like that. There she goes. So he's got the useless camera. So he's got the purity seal there to show that he's pure on his jacket for some reason. And that is almost done. Sorry for the camera going out of focus continuously, it's rather annoying, isn't it? I tried it with the other camera, but the other camera is kaput. So I will now take the figure off its base. And here's a base I'm going to use. This is a base I made earlier in true Blue Peter fashion. Sorry for the American audience who haven't got a clue what Blue Peter is. So we'll try and set him on the base, like so. Should take a few seconds to actually set. Put something behind it just to persuade him to stay in one place, and there we have it. A Adeptus Mechanicus Ranger, a Skitarii Ranger. I think they're Rangers, aren't they? Yes. So there is the completed Ranger. So there he is. Here are some I did earlier. One I did earlier, and this one is a one of the more elite troops. He's in rad gear, which is white because it's sort of anti-radiation and it just looks cool, and it's also slightly more camouflaged than your average uniform because they're fighting on snow. So that's how we end up in the end. So let me know what you think in the comments section, and I hope you enjoyed the video and it gave you a few ideas for your own painting, and feel free to criticise anything I've done. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Imperator Vespasian, wishing you a good day. Goodbye.